Welcome, Tim and Joel Pod, Tuesday night. Scalded the hell out of my mouth. The roof of my mouth looks like Bobby Lashley's shoulder right now. Just everything scraped right off. Clean slate.
Oh,
Ready to talk for you.
that sounds awful.
Yeah, it's great. Some hot chicken.
Oh, was it like spicy chicken too?
It was spicy breaded chicken. So it was
God.
It sheared off that first layer of skin, and then every bite after was agony. So we're in a good place.
When I was in university,
feel like, oh yeah.
When I was in university, we used to go to this place called the Ram and the Rye Pub. It was the Ryerson University Pub, and they used to have like a snack platter, and the snack platter was like all the deep fried garbage you can put on a plate. And so they had the pizza rolls, which were the best. But man, when those pizza rolls were hot, you burned the hell out of the roof of your mouth.
Acid cheese.
I still remember skin hanging from the back. Oh, it was real gross.
Yeah, it's a good time. So just very eager to eat some very painful chicken. And now I'm ready. I'm ready for you, the people.
We're ready for you every week here because it's Tim and Joel calling the ring. This week I do the intros. That's Tim, I'm Joel.
Whoa.
If you haven't figured it out yet. And we're here every single Tuesday right now, 7 p.m. Eastern, here on youtube.com/Tim and Joel Pod. Also, you can catch us talking SmackPack, that's Smackdown, Impact, NXT UK, and Dibs and Dabs on Sundays at noon Eastern. Yeah, Dibs and Dabs is right. You can like this video right here. You can subscribe to us here on that YouTube channel I mentioned. Go ahead. Talk about wrestling with us because that's what we like.
Ooh.
So let's talk about it. Chat,
I guess. Hello.
Tim, Hell in a Cell. How good was that opening match between Bianca and Bayley?
It was pretty good.
Excuse me?
I thought it was pretty good. I don't know. Maybe it's just wrestling. Maybe I just watched it at the wrong time. It was fine. It was good. It was the second best match on the card, in my opinion.
Behind whom?
I like the main event.
Okay, I agree. We'll get to that.
Yep.
I want to cover the SmackDown matches first because then we'll roll everything into Raw. But Bianca and Bayley, man, this was the match for me. It showed that Bianca Belair has a mean streak, and you can add that to your title reign. I enjoyed that. I liked Bayley grabbing stuff from last year's Hell in a Cell match versus Sasha and bringing that into this year. So the callbacks
were the
kendo sticks, and then taping the kendo sticks together because last year she couldn't get the tape unwrapped and everything, and it was really cute. And then going through the kendo sticks, and also her chair lust, Tim.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. WWE just loves kendo sticks, but with this one, it at least made a lot more sense to me.
It goes along with Vince's love of sound signatures.
Yeah. I mean,
he likes when things have sounds attached to them.
So do I. I just wish it was not constant. It's the new chair, because they can't do the chairs. So
it's true. It can't be as loud. What about the hair? What do you think of using Bianca Belair's hair now? It's been almost every match the hair has come into play. What do you think? Is it overdone? Is it good? What do you think?
I mean, it's the type of thing that, like, this is how you tell stories in wrestling. This is how you tell stories in the ring, and they've been doing this all the way through the build and into this match. I think for this story, it made a lot of sense, and it was well done, and now they can do something different. Like, this was the Bayley-Bianca thing, so.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, it's time to move on and maybe move past Bayley and Bianca. Does Bianca
100%.
maybe have a next opponent in mind for Money in the Bank? Do you have someone you'd like to see?
I'm trying to think of who's on the roster. I'd love to see Mia Yim debut and go for the title, but we'll see.
That's actually a really interesting idea.
Yeah.
You'd have to build her up real quick. We don't have a lot of time to do it. My feeling is still Carmella. The only reason for that being Carmella's going to come out and say, I'm the prettiest. I am the most,
exactly. That's what I mean. I don't want it to go right there. I like Carmella, but I don't think they have a damn bit of idea to do anything with Bella. So,
right.
Yeah.
Mella Bella.
Yeah, there we go. I did a Michael Cole. I'll never hear the end of it. All next month, it'll just be.
The other side of it is that Money in the Bank will be live in front of fans.
Oh yeah.
So do you already bring in someone like Sasha Banks? Do you have someone else in mind that you can bring back just as quickly and put in Bianca's way? for the SmackDown Women's title. What do you think?
I mean, okay, you got the potential of Becky returning. She's been around. I don't think that would be a good move, considering I don't want to see face versus face. Unless Becky comes back with a real mean streak. Just saddles right up to Seth. They lean into that.
I don't know if Becky's going to turn up on SmackDown. I have a feeling she'll be on Raw.
Yeah, I get the same vibes. I think that's where she's needed the most, so it wouldn't make a ton of sense. I mean, Yeah, I guess you would only need like 4 women in the Money in the Bank match. So,
well, that's the problem. You're saying only 4 women, but we can't even think of like Clayton in our chat is saying Bailey, Mia, and Liv, and I agree with those 3. And then what do? You know, unless you have Mela as the 4th person, and then you have to find someone else for Bianca to defend against.
Return to Sasha. I guess I wouldn't be surprised if they do that right away.
If that's the case, then SummerSlam has to have a huge component to it.
Yeah, it's going to be Sasha. It could be Sasha versus Bianca. They add some weird stipulation.
Do a triple threat, maybe add Bailey to it.
Could
Sasha,
be, yeah.
Bianca, Bailey.
Like that. That's got legs, though. I wouldn't mind that. The triple threat. I don't want to see them run back Sasha and Bianca like that, just to do it in front of fans. But
it feels like they want to continue with that feud, which makes sense to me. They have to find a way to continue making it make sense. Yep. Considering Sasha left, you've forgotten about her, which is great. Like she's not just taking L's or making random, promos where she laughs crazily and then wins a match. She's gone. She's on the sidelines. You're forgetting about her existence, which is great. That's all you need right now. But I don't know who else could fight Bianca at this point.
I mean, they could even just pull someone up. Who knows? At this point, like,
it's Nikki Cross. We'll talk about her. KO and Sami Zayn. Again, that match was going to be fun. Man, they were stiff.
Love it. Do it more. They're fine.
They were firing off live rounds.
Yeah, and now Sammy's like once again memeable. Like you saw the Goya thing, right? Like it's hilarious.
It was ridiculous. I mean, the haluva kick at the very end, they showed the slow speed. Oh my god, he went right into his face, and then some. There were some punches that were really stiff mid-match from KO to Sammy, but they're friends. I'm sure
that's trust, fine. Baby. I want more of that in wrestling.
I guess so. Kevin Owens on Twitter saying he's going to maybe take some time off. Interesting. I'm not against it if he wants to do it after pandemic. Sure, why not?
Yeah.
Be a daddy, Sammy, meanwhile. So okay. We're going to get into Seth and Cesaro in a second. For SmackDown to bypass Money in the Bank qualifiers, because realistically, we're using most of these talent again.
Yeah.
You could say something like, because Sammy beat KO, because Seth beat Cesaro, they are in Money in the Bank. And then what do? Do you have Seth has to qualify by beating somebody else, and he's a third man that gets in? How do you do it? And what do you think of that as an idea, considering both matches that I'm talking about, as good as they were, had no stakes?
Yeah, none whatsoever.
Well, so what do we do? Do we give them stakes after the fact, or do we just kind of leave it as is and hope that they give us a qualifying match on SmackDown?
I feel like they're just going to do the qualifying matches some more.
Yeah.
You know what? Maybe they do a little tag team qualifying.
Oh my God, they're doing that. Well, again, talk about that.
Just a little reverso.
Actually, you know what though? If they did it like that with the men on SmackDown and then had the women all do singles matches to get in, that balances out enough for me, because that was my biggest gripe with Raw, was having the women have tag team matches to get into the Money in the Bank women's match.
Yeah.
That was a little strange to me, whereas the men were doing singles matches.
Agreed. So I'm saying they got an opportunity. If they do that, I think it makes enough sense. But we'll see.
Seth and Cesaro, again, we just talked about. No stakes. But the glove spot was hilarious.
Yeah, there were high spots for like every match on this card, and that was one of them. Like the match happened. I don't think I went into it with the right mood. Like just the entire Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. Because I was just like, it's fine. And then I rewatched the main event, and it was very good. But Seth Cesaro was good. It's fine. They're both capable, but like it doesn't outshine what they just did at WrestleMania. So that's
right. Now, I've said this before. Cesaro, as good as he is, we're doing it. It's the same thing. It's Cesaro experiment number 232, and Vince doesn't care. It's almost, I'm doing this begrudgingly. If he doesn't get over, it's his own fault, which we know that's not the case. But the point is, are we moving past Cesaro as, possible main event big man? What do you think? What are we doing?
Yeah, I don't see him getting there. I think that was it. Flash in the pan, upper mid card. That's it.
And that's upsetting. I mean, it's upsetting for those who expect more out of him every time that he gets a push off the card, but it's not upsetting for someone like me who maybe sees it as like he's here, he still has a contract, he's still actively working. I don't think Cesaro is really tempted by championships and being the guy. I think he's very happy with the positions he's offered and given. But yeah, I think it's upsetting for fans in long-term development.
Here's the thing. Like, he's so talented in the ring, but like, it's just, they're giving him like low effort promo stuff. And I mean, he's not doing the best with that either. So I just don't see him being the guy. He's not going to pull off what Roman's doing right now, But he puts on tremendous in-ring matches, and like, he had great runs. Like, the whole thing with the bar was excellent, and I think that he's going to continue to do excellent upper mid-card work. And I think that if any, like, I don't know, I'm not in the guy's head, but like, he's so damn good at that. Like, why put yourself in that extra pressure point when you're doing such great work? Like, his match at WrestleMania is now a classic for me. That was incredible. So
I like the idea of Cesaro. He lost the match, yes, but he didn't lose it in such a dominant fashion.
No,
it was a roll up. It was like it was a schoolboy pin. It was nothing. It didn't really define him down, and more just kind of proved the point that we're not making him this unbeatable monster. Instead, he's just a guy, and he's taking on Seth, who we see much more value in and have in the past.
Like, have him float around the IC title. Like, he can go up against Apollo, and I think that would be interesting at some point. Like, stuff like that.
Well, let's move along and let's talk about the main event that you enjoyed, and that was Drew and Lashley.
Yeah.
So,
what'd
you like?
Yeah, I liked that it felt. Again, like, the cage is such a weird. I don't know how much the cage added, but seeing Bobby take that crazy power bomb landing almost like on his neck, upper shoulders, that's what the sell is now, and they did a good job of it. They did a good job of like slamming each other into it in a way that was interesting. Drew had Bobby by the neck. Bobby did tons of like great bump work here. But Drew had him by the neck at one point, just like, and it looked rough, and it was using the cage, and it was interesting to me. Whereas like the cage just feels like, for a lot of the matches, I was going back looking at some of the recent ones, and for a lot of the matches, it honestly just seems like it's a way to make the cameraman's life harder. But like, overall, like, this one felt good. They still used a bunch of weapons because that's what they do nowadays instead of using the cage. But there were good spots here that used the cage, and there were some funny moments. When when MVP passed in his cane, and then Bobby used the cane, and then I was expecting him to then pass it back through the cage, but then he chucked it over into the corner, and I was like, oh damn, that sucks. He didn't give his cane back. And then like, I was like, MVP's gonna have to like stick his fingers in and try to grab at it, and then he did that while the camera was on him, because I was like, oh, they cut away and he's probably doing it right now. And nope, sure, the next shot where he was visible, you see him like, and he couldn't quite get it, and he just gave up. I was like, oh.
Speaking of visible shots, let's address the invisible hand. The crash pad incident, the invisible hand, as it were, or the visible invisible hand. Mark Henry and Mae Young's son getting some work on this event.
Good to find a job after all these years living under the ring.
The man continues to find work. Good on him. Very happy about that. So we have the crash pad. You know what? Listen, I'm all for safety. I'm all for doing it right. They did it fine. It was just that hand that was trying to clean up afterwards from under the ring felt very, very awkward and just kind of out of place. I don't put too much emphasis on it. It was just one of those memeable, hilarious moments to me. And you know what? They're going to go back to live crowds soon, and they won't be able to do any of this shit. They're going to have to take it hard and deal with it.
Good.
But I'm okay with working safe for now.
Yeah, I don't care so much. It looked real bad. The table spot looked bad because Drew, like, you know, remained kind of elevated when he took the bump. He did like it didn't.
Yeah, you see his
It didn't
leg kind
work.
of shoot
Yeah,
up above
it
the
didn't work at
ring
all. Yeah,
apron.
yeah.
It was strange.
It looked weird, and then it looked very weird. Just like ah ah ah.
You saw
And
the
again, like,
welts.
what are they doing? Like, the camera guy can see this stuff, and then they, I don't know. And then they replayed it.
It's live. It's live entertainment, pal.
Yeah, at that point though, like, don't replay it. Just take the L and move on.
I was enjoying it. Yeah, the hand was trying to clean, and that's all it was. They were caught. They were
Yeah.
trying to move the pieces of the broken table and also pull out whatever the crash pad may have been under Drew. That's fine. You know what? You saw the welts on Drew's back from the match, and so it makes sense for me. That I don't care. They're just working safe, and that's fine with me. But that ref bump, taking a chair to the face,
Good.
oh, that sucked.
See, I don't know. I think the working safe aside, like, I don't think it was necessary. Like, either don't do the thing or just it just didn't. Use a different pad, maybe one that doesn't like keep the table aloft.
Yeah, it just, again, we talked about it. It was the same thing. AEW did it with Jericho going off the cage. You pick your spot, and if it doesn't work, then it didn't work. That's
And
all
that's
it
what
is.
I'm saying. Like, it's the same thing. It's just like bad production. Like, you can do this, you can use a pad, but like at least test and try. Like, produce it better. And this was
Yep.
just a miss. But the match overall was very, very good. So
Yeah, one thing I saw people talking about was the idea that Drew bringing in the replacement referee, like bringing him into the cage afterwards, made no sense. But to me, it made all the
no,
sense
yeah,
because he
yeah.
was trying to get the pinfall, and
Yeah,
that
he
was
was
the only way
ready
to do it,
Yeah, yeah.
to get the only guy who could come in. So that was one thing I saw people talking about. And I was kind of like, no, it made sense. He was trying to win a match, so he wanted to bring in the only person that could actually count three and be, awake for it.
Yeah, I thought
So
that was,
worked.
and what I do appreciate this year is that no one went out of the damn cell. Like, it was getting overused and no one did it. So
Yeah, they've been doing that last couple of years where it's been a little more conservative with the use of the cell.
yeah.
They've been staying in it and trying to make it more of a match that uses the confines of the cell and not uses the top of the cell with some ridiculous shit.
Oh, don't talk to me about confines. They said that word 800 times on the pay-per-view, but
But was it legal?
oh my god, and the legality it was whatever.
Let me tell you what's not legal. What is legal, friends? That's leaving a thumbs up on this video and subscribing to us here at youtube.com/Tim and Joel Pod. Join us on our Discord, by the way. There's a link in the description of this video here on YouTube. You can join us. We talk about wrestling. We talk about all this stuff. Come and join us if you haven't already. We'd love to have you. We'd love to converse. We'll be talking about all the shows as we go along, including last night's Raw. We were talking about it. Another Hell in a Cell match. It was Hell in a Cell weekend.
Yeah, you know what it was? I was looking at the Wikipedia page for Hell in a Cell, and this brought them up to 49 Hell in a Cell matches. And I think
So
they
that's
just
50.
saw that they were very close to 50, and they're like, "Ooh, let's get it. Let's get it before the next pay-per-view." So I don't think you'll be seeing another Hell in a Cell match until Hell in a Cell, as is the tradition nowadays. At which point 50. So
Do it at Mania. Do a big Hell in a Cell match at Mania.
They
Make it
could
the
do
50th.
Hell in a Cell 50 at Mania. Yeah.
Xavier Woods versus Bobby Lashley. By the way, Bobby Lashley, the first ever wrestler to do 2 nights back to back in Hell in a Cell and win both matches.
He did work too. Both of them were good. Like, I enjoyed Xavier Woods in that. Like, it was really, really exciting. And that elbow drop. Choice.
Oh, absolutely. Coast to coast going with that elbow. Woods always looks good when he does it in a regular match.
Yeah.
Now he does it onto a table in the cage after working that style of match. Man, it was good. If anyone ever thought that Xavier Woods couldn't work, I don't know what to tell you. You just didn't pay attention.
Yeah, and it was good.
Goes.
And obviously, like, this is great. They're doing. This is something that WWE set up a while ago, and they're making hay out of it, and they're doing a damn good job. Like, they started with those backstagers with Kofi and MVP, and now they're going this direction. I think this is a very elegant transition into Bobby's next feud. Love it. This is what we clamor for most of the time on this show. We're begging for stuff like this, and here it is. It's working really well. Using Woods at the end of that show to press him up against the cage, and that is perfect. It's exactly what I want to see from wrestling.
So we talk about this with Big E often enough. The joking Big E versus the serious Big E. We're doing it again last night,
Yeah.
where Kofi and Xavier come out and they've got toast, and I'm sitting there, I'm just like, oh, it's French toast because they're no longer doing pancakes. But anyway, they're making toast. I get it. It's whatever.
Yeah.
But they come out and they're joking, but then all of a sudden switch flips and they are serious as serious can get. Kofi wants Lashley and Bobby's just like, I want it.
You got it.
Like it's just like, I'm challenging you. He's like, yes. It's like, oh, okay, all right. He wants to humble somebody. Let's do that, and let's let Kofi be a serious main eventer again.
Yeah.
But he can still joke around a little bit. But I think the idea here is just that New Day has always proven they can get serious when they need to get serious. But until then, they're just like anyone else who's just going through life and enjoying it.
Yeah,
I like it.
No, and it was really, really good. I loved him pointing out the users bit in his promo with him too. Like it's really well done, and it shows just like a different approach to life and success. And it's good. This is one of the better written things on there. You know, I'm excited for this. It's going in the right direction. Hopefully, it keeps going that way.
Let's talk about Money in the Bank. We've got qualifying matches. We talked
Steaks.
talk about steaks, some nice sizzling, juicy steaks. Let's talk about the men's. First of all, going off of last night's match with it was Riddle defeating Drew McIntyre. I like downtrodden, depressed, upset Drew losing everything and just going not even going crazy, but just maybe getting real sad. Emo Drew is where I can go with this.
Oh man, there's going to be so much sad history quoted at us.
I was having a conversation in the Discord about this, and I think really it's not that Drew doesn't like the content that he's being given. I literally think part of it is he wants to get really stupid shit over. Because he did it once. There's a joke that goes around with the "Hey, all you cool cats and kittens."
Yeah.
That was because his wife dared him to do it, and he was like, "You're on," and he did it, and it was silly and it was dumb and whatever. No one really remembers it, but people quote it. The point was, Drew kind of marches to his own beat, and when he gives these history lessons, they don't always do it for me, but they're doing something for someone. I know that.
Further Churchill quotes, but yeah.
Yes. He's a big Iron Maiden fan. He's been watching a lot of live Iron Maiden shows. Just going in Aces High. That's what they listen to, is that Churchill speech.
Yeah.
But whatever. You know what? You drag Drew down all the way to the point where he gets a statement win, and that starts to bring him back up. And no, not for a title. It shouldn't be he randomly wins the U.S. title from Sheamus, and now he's back to the races. No. It's got to be built in something serious, something emotional that brings Drew back.
And that's the thing. It keeps you in the upper mid card now that it's time to move a little down, and you're still involved in an interesting storyline because you're watching like the downfall. You're watching the broken man story, and it's a lot more interesting than just guy goes out to do a match because he's the guy who does the matches week in, week out.
As pointed out by Alex in the chat, it was the underdogs night because Ricochet defeated AJ Styles. Now, granted, there was a distraction finish. The Viking Raiders came out and they kind of did the thing where we knew AJ and Omos have to have that tag title match. I assume maybe that's going to be the tag title match for Money in the Bank if they drag it out that long. But meanwhile, high flying Ricochet in a ladder match, you got to do it.
Yes, please. I mean, I knew it was gonna I knew all the top guys were gonna lose. Like that first match, and they just said underdog a bunch, and I was like, oh, I see what they're doing. And then
you knew it,
and then it happened, and I was like, yeah. And then they did the redemption, or what's the next one, whatever the hell it's called, last chance.
Yes, the losers match. John Morrison defeated Randy Orton. Randy and Riddle have a very awkward interaction at the top of the stage afterwards, where Riddle, of course, doesn't shut the hell up, and I don't want to talk about Riddle, so yep, that's nice. I just hope that someone beats the shit out of Riddle and removes him from the match. Feels like Randy will join the Money in the Bank field and win that triple threat that we just made reference to. Randy, Drew, and AJ next week in the losers match.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna be Randy.
And what do you think? Randy pins Drew?
Ooh, yep.
I could see that.
That makes a lot of sense.
Leave AJ and Omos as the big contenders for their tag titles.
Yeah,
that's what
100%.
I would like. All right. Well, let's talk about go back to Hell in a Cell. Let's talk about Rhea and Charlotte. That was a good match. Opened well. I really love the idea of Charlotte attacking Rhea with the title, or attacking Charlotte attacking Rhea when Rhea handed over the title to the referee.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that. Little stupid
Yeah,
shit
it
like
was
that.
good. It had its moments. It ended in a way I didn't want to see it end.
Right. The finish was garbage. Plain and simple.
I just like Rhea's not doing a good job with the delivery on this stuff. It sounds so canned.
There was a story in this match. It was Rhea getting upset because she's being outmatched by Charlotte.
Yeah.
So what does she do to outmatch Charlotte? And then they make more sense of this on Raw the next night. But what do we do? Like take the table and blah blah blah. She gets DQ'd and she's a champion. She keeps her title. She's got a smile on her face. Why? Nobody knows. The finish made no sense, so they had to make it make sense the next night, which I will appreciate. I'm fine to run this match back and do it again at Money in the Bank, but they have to find they just had to find a clever way in the moment to finish that match, because the way they did it was not good enough.
Yeah, because it's like, oh, I'm only doing what she would have done to me. And it's like, yeah. We all know this. Like, I don't know. And then getting out in the ring was awkward because it's like, oh, the rules only apply to me, not Charlotte. And I was like, okay, yeah, that's a good line of argument. But also, like, why are we focusing just on Charlotte? Why aren't we focusing on the fact that this happens all the goddamn time? Like,
right. Why aren't you talking about this as every time, not just her?
Yeah.
So the idea here, like, and also doing the beatdown afterwards with Rhea post match, getting in the Riptide was interesting to me because, again, it was the idea that Rhea didn't outsmart Charlotte, but eventually she outpowered Charlotte. I think there's something in that. But the idea of the Money in the Bank match is really just going to be like who's smarter and who uses more cunning to win the match. So it'll be a weird roll up finish, and then someone's going to catch him. That's my anticipation. And it's going to be Dewdrop.
Yeah, please.
Let's talk about the women's Money in the Bank qualifiers.
This went a weird way.
Boy, did people backpedal on this one. All right, I enjoyed that pre-match segment. I think a lot of people did, because you can see that Piper Niven wanted to say her name was Piper, and all of a sudden Eva's just like, Dewdrop. It's like, oh, okay.
That was a fun way to get there. I'm fine with that. I have other questions, but like the backstager was good. That really showed like, okay.
Our MLM theory remains intact, by the way, because I think Eva Marie has something on Dewdrop and is going to force her to keep doing the work.
Okay, you've already thought out how to fix this. Good. Because like I am concerned by the fact that they are already at odds. Like that was good for me. I assumed something that was going to build, but no, clearly Dewdrop is not all in. So
it would make no sense for them to go ahead and split this right away. And just be like, oh, this is actually Piper Niven and we're just being stupid. Like, I get that sometimes it's a reactionary approach that writing will take because of the way people take all this stuff. But I need Piper and Eva to stay together because I need them to have some sort of story that isn't just they're going to face each other. I want Piper to build to that point where she needs to squash Eva, because the whole point of Eva Marie is that she's getting so much heat for being such an annoying woman who wants to get everything that she's owed, quote unquote.
Yeah, 100%.
I need
so
that.
like it did feel weird that they're already fighting right off the bat for me, but I'm hoping that there is some angle where Dewdrop gets into the Money in the Bank match and then wins.
And I'm telling you that is the play for me. It's always been Dewdrop wins and Eva Marie says, no, this is mine. You're doing this for me. And Eva Marie wins the Raw Women's Championship. And she does it in like the shittiest way possible. I like that. I want that. It makes sense to me. I don't need them to be the women's tag champions because guess what?
God, no.
They're not friends.
Yeah, that sounds awful.
They don't get along.
I don't want that at all.
Meanwhile, Naomi and Asuka do qualify for the women's Money in the Bank because they defeated Eva and Dewdrop. While I'm not a fan of these tag matches for women to get into Money in the Bank, maybe it gives us more ideas as to who can be in a tag team, because that women's tag team division is literally 2 teams right now.
Yeah.
And that needs to change. It just feels weak, but if it's the way that they put them together, I can understand it. That's all I got. Anything from you?
No, that's about it.
You want to talk about Super Nikki?
I guess.
First of all, Super Nikki, Alexa Bliss, they team up, and new music for both, so you know something's good. Now, a lot of people wanted to dunk on Super Nikki, and they were. And then Killian Dane sent out a tweet.
What did Killian Dane tweet?
So if you don't know already, Killian Dane and Nikki are married.
Oh, I didn't.
They
Now
are
I do.
married.
All right.
Killian Dane basically said you went up with an idea of your own, you fleshed it out, and you did it. Basically said Nikki Cross's superhero idea was her own.
I mean, okay. It's the
And
hurricane.
I like the idea of Nikki Cross being this character because positivity. She is very your cha is very much a
It's better than that.
And she can continue to be entertaining and towards the middle of the women's card.
Yeah.
Also, there's a potential story that could form here because you have the positivity of Nikki Cross, the superhero, and dark Alexa Bliss trying to corrupt her former best friend. You can continue that storyline. I like that there's something there potentially. You don't see it, do you?
No, I don't care for any of it. And I find it seems like they're getting Bliss quickly away from the Fiend bit with the new music. Like I it's just like they're shoving that under the rug. And I was like, oh, she's going to be more in the ring now. I think I don't know. It's odd. I'm a bit confused. It feels like they're doing kind of like a not a 180, but like a 90-degree turn.
That's fair. I think that they're still doing it. They're just trying to figure out what the Bliss character looks like on the road.
Yeah, 100%. It's clear they don't want it to just be cinematic work, obviously, right? She's got to be in the ring. So the mind control, corporeal control thing is a good way of getting around that, I think. As much as I'm not a huge fan of it, it is kind of an elegant way to have her still be supernatural and menacing in a way that plays well in front of an audience.
Well, let's talk about that. So they defeat Shania Payne, of course, and they were hypnotized throughout parts of the match. Now there's something you can do with Bliss using hypnosis to win Money in the Bank. Someone's at the top of the ladder. She looks at them, stares at them. They drop the case into her lap, and she wins. But we've done that finish before.
Yeah.
Now with hypnosis, we've done it with James Ellsworth and Carmella. We've done something like this before where they've dropped it, and they did it with Otis.
Otis last year, yeah.
So I think we need to step away from that. I don't expect that to be the finish, but I like that people are talking about it.
Yeah, 100%. It could be that Alexa gets someone off the ladder that way, right? They just step down, but then someone interrupts Alexa.
And if you want to get someone off, go ahead and like this video. Subscribe to us here on youtube.com/TimandJoelPod. No, we don't have sponsors yet, but man, we'd like some, and your help would be very much appreciated.
Okay.
Listen, I can make tone deaf things come to life, but so can a Jackson Riker. I don't want to talk about him. Dude, it was awful.
Yeah.
Dude, he's flogging himself after the shit that he said.
A little self-flagellation.
Dude,
Mansoor's reaction looked good. And then
Mansoor's got great facials.
Ali came in, and that was awful. I didn't like any of that.
Congrats to Ali and his wife, Uzma, by the way. They're expecting a baby in December. It's very nice.
Nice.
There was a tweet that ran around way back in February or March. Ali was like, I'm excited to go home. Someone asked, what's the first thing you're going to do when you get home? And Ali said, my wife. And now when he announced that they were expecting, someone brought up that tweet. It was like, wow, you don't mess around.
That's very funny.
Again, it's so ridiculous that WWE, Vince McMahon, is expecting that fans are going to cheer Jackson Riker when they go back to live crowds, and it makes no sense. They probably will. That I swear to God, the U.S. title post that we put up on our
it's happening.
Socials was, oh my God.
The man wants the US title. Give it to him.
Meanwhile, we find out Sheamus is cleared to compete. The cocky bastard. I loved that.
That was funny.
So stupid.
Very dumb.
Jinder and others are not in the Money in the Bank, and it felt weird, but they got nowhere else to go, so they just put him on the screen, didn't they? And Gulak too, I think, was there.
They didn't even seem that well prepared to be on the screen, but anyway.
Dude, they were as well prepared as I was at 4:00 this afternoon to do this podcast, because I was waiting in a line all afternoon to get my second shot of the vaccine. Woo! Double vax, though, so I got that going for me. That was Raw. Let's talk about AEW Dynamite. We got a preview. It's on Saturday this week, Tim.
Hooray, not Friday.
Not Friday. So we'll talk about Dynamite again this Saturday or this Sunday on SmackPack. But it'll be the last time we talk about Dynamite on a SmackPack.
Good.
Then we'll back to it. There's only two announced matches for this week's Dynamite, and they're
this
two
is
big
weird.
ones.
That's weird for Dynamite. Normally we got a whole big card.
Because they're going to do Dynamite like 4 days later on a Wednesday live. They loaded up that card.
Makes sense.
This one is just kind of there. Let's talk about Hangman Adam Page taking on Powerhouse Hobbs. No cage last week for Team Taz therapy session. I guess that's going to mean he comes out and maybe causes a loss for Hobbs.
I don't know, but he doesn't have any issue with Hobbs. We'll see. Maybe he's over all of Team Taz. I was hoping it was just going to be Ricky Starks, but
I would, if Starks wasn't injured, I would love to, like I said, I'd love to see Starks be the one that gets kicked out of Team Taz, because Taz sees more in having a big jacked up dude than he does having Ricky Starks, who's good looking and cunning.
And I think, like I just still think that Hobbs and Cage and Taz are like, it's such a good visual. And hey, I'm gonna beat you. In case you didn't notice, Hook's on Twitter now.
Hook, buddy. I saw you this past week in Toronto on the Toronto home zone. I know it was you. You're looking for a place to live. Congratulations. Going on fashion. Yeah, I'm proud of you. Hook, let me tell you, you're going to be an amazing wrestler. You, Brock Anderson, Jungle Boy. You're the guys. You're going to be the next generation. I'm proud of you, Hook. Proud of you every day. So anyway, we're going to get that match on Saturday night. Hangman Page takes on Powerhouse Hobbs. Did you see Hangman's BTE vision?
No, I almost watched BTE, but then I didn't.
Pretty good. Basically, they're all tripping balls, and Hangman's vision, while he's tripping on whatever old drugs 10 found, he's got the AEW title.
Ooh.
And it's in his grasps.
It's coming.
All Out is coming, my friends. Paying attention to that. Speaking of the AEW World Heavyweight Championship, we've got Kenny Omega taking on Jungle Boy. Whoo, lots of talk between these two, and we're finally going to get to the match. I'm looking forward to it, man. How are you feeling?
Yeah, Kenny's going to get on that ass. It's going to be good.
Notice you can say ass, but you can't say asshole on TNT. It's strange.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't know. Honestly, they're so bad at like censoring stuff. It's a bit at this point. Whoever's got that mute button is so asleep all day. Like,
especially because the show is not live.
I know. Like, what?
That's what makes it the best. This is Jungle Boy's biggest match yet, easily on any big stage, national network television, and he's got so much to look up to and so much to do. I'm really excited for him to stand out. I'm excited for Kenny to give him that standout moment. I really, really, really do not want to see Good Brothers, Young Bucks, Jurassic Express, I should say. I don't want to see shenanigans with them. I don't want to see any of them show up, and just let's have a clean match. If you're going to do shenanigans, do it afterwards. Do it after the match is over, after Kenny gets to 3. Just put the focus on Jungle Boy having had a great match with Kenny Omega.
Please.
That's it for Dynamite.
Yeah, it's thin. It's weird.
I know. What wasn't thin was last week's NXT, and tonight is looking like it's going to be a must-see event.
I'm hyped.
Baby, we got Samoa Joe. He's back. He's not going to be an Impact, but he's going to make an impact here in NXT. So Cross is definitely a heel. Karrion Kross, by the way, who wrestled a match on main event this past week, as did Bronson Reed. Cross did not wrestle with Scarlett, by the way. That was very interesting. She did not come with him. But I'm sure that's just it.
It's probably because it was just, it was a main event. Why work harder than you need to?
Good old main event. But I like the idea that Joe is definitely going to fight someone soon, tell you that much. He cannot get involved unless he's physically provoked. And Regal said, you're not cleared to compete. So, no, fine. Okay, fine. I like it. What do you think? Joe, is it going to reinvigorate some NXT people coming back to NXT? What do you think?
Like other wrestlers? No.
Well, not just other wrestlers, but also the idea that maybe fans who were not fans of NXT for the last, say, couple of years. You think Joe's return might bring some people back?
Yeah, might actually. I mean, I don't know. I didn't watch when all of this kicked off. I didn't see his initial run, so I don't know. I don't know. NXT is pretty good.
I do recommend getting a hold of Samoa Joe's NXT run. There was some really good stuff in there. Him and Finn Balor had a bunch of really great matches. There was a lot of stuff to look back on and enjoy from that run. I think it was 2016, 2015. You should do it. I loved Adam Cole getting choked TF out
Very
by,
good.
by
Very
Samoa
good.
Joe.
And they'll like look down just before.
So they announced Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly are going to go at it, take over Great American Bash. Very much into it. I expect Gargano versus Cross again.
Yeah.
That's what I say again, because that's what I've been talking about for the last God knows how long. And they told Cole and O'Reilly, go find your own opponents for this week. So what do?
Oh my God.
Adam Cole is taking on who the hell knows.
Somebody who will defeat handily in less than a minute. Squash match, almost certainly, because he's the bad guy who's going to take the coward's way out. Someone way out of his under his league. I don't know. Another nobody like these guys that you've been telling me about who faced Kushida. But
No, I have
maybe
a
they
feeling
don't put up anything.
I have a feeling they're going to be somewhere else. What if it's Bobby Fish?
Oh, that'd be good, but I don't think they're going that way. We'll see. I think it's going to be some nobody. Like
the idea of Bobby Fish being that he is Kyle O'Reilly's friend, so he's going to embarrass Kyle O'Reilly's friend and make Kyle feel real pissed about it.
That is a heel thing to do. I wouldn't be surprised if it was Leon Ruff. I see.
Yeah, I'm seeing that in the chat.
If that would not surprise me at all. Like that's the type of thing I'm talking about. Not that Leon Ruff's a nobody, but like if they're going to use someone who's like thoroughly on the roster, that might be the one.
Yeah, I could see that, but I don't know. I want to see something interesting. Oh, there we go. I was waiting for some stuff to come out, and they've announced some new stuff, so we'll get to that. The Kushida Open Challenge, of course, we had it, and I told you, you always got to listen to me, friends. It's Trey Baxter, formerly known as Blake Christian, had myself a good time with that match, and a great showing from Baxter. Kushida is the Cruiserweight champion that they want to kind of usher in this new Cruiserweight 205 Live era, which is apparently the plan if you subscribe to Fightful Select. Kushida bringing in the Cruiserweights. What do you think of the match, Trey Baxter?
Oh, it's good. It was a good match. Yeah, I thought it was enjoyable. He is interesting. I'm curious to see what he does over the next several years.
Yes, please. So Cool Kyle comes out and he issues the challenge to Kushida. It's a non-title match. That's the match.
They're leaning hard into Cool Kyle because, oh my God, this is the nerdiest shit.
I love
it. When he came out, I was like, oh, you're such a dork. It's perfect. It's good. I'm really glad that he has come out of, oh my God, what the hell was the faction's name?
Talking the Undisputed Era?
Undisputed Era. That was the one. I was gonna say United Era. I was like, that's not right.
Furniture Warehouse.
Yeah. It's good to see him coming out of Undisputed Era with a character that's like gonna be, you can keep that for quite a while. Him being this keener dweeb, it fits him, and I think it's working well, and he did a good job cutting the promos in the split. Like when he was in the lead up to facing Adam Cole to make this work, like the transition went really well. Because, he changed as a person, right? Everyone got worse, but he got a little bit better. All that other crap. Dork.
I still think we're building Cool Kyle for SummerSlam TakeOver, where he potentially, almost inevitably, becomes NXT champion. That's my feeling.
Very wholesome.
And this is the way to do it. You build it from having him, defeat Kushida tonight in non-title match. Build from there. Does he beat Adam Cole at TakeOver Great American Bash? I don't know, but at least you get a little bit somewhere to start, right?
Yep.
So that's going to be tonight, Cool Kyle and Kushida. Meanwhile, last week we had Casey Catanzaro and Caden Carter take on Raquel Gonzalez and Dakota Kai. Now, first of all, very good match. Did not expect that.
I feel like every time Casey and Caden are together, they kind of deliver. It really does. They do good work together.
I agree with it. I think I just didn't expect it to be as long as it was, or in the same competitive spirit that it was.
I expected squash, and no,
yes,
it was proper. So
It feels like they're trying to run into two dudes with attitude, but make it two dudettes with attitude.
Yeah.
Give them the tag title, the women's tag titles again, while Raquel holds the women's title. But there's no mid card women's title, so they can't exactly do it. But you can tell they're getting there because they got the height differentiation going. But I think it's very interesting that those two they're slow burning to that Dakota Kai Raquel Gonzalez match, and I'm all for it.
I
it's
appreciate it too.
Happens.
Yeah,
Yep.
I hate the scramble to that stuff. I like when it takes time. Better pay off.
Yeah. Speaking of paying off, we got Frankie Monet's world premiere encore tonight.
Yep.
She's gonna squash someone. Let's say it's Zeta Ramir. Why not?
I like that they're anyone. It doesn't matter. She's gonna squash someone. I'm glad they've cleared. It seems like they might have found a place for her, which is good because I was really wondering where she was gonna fit in on this roster. So
sounds like she's also going to try and fit in further with Aaliyah and Jessie Kamea, who are, by the way, going to be taking on the team of Io Shirai and Zoe Stark tonight on NXT. Now, they still have Aaliyah and Jessie with Robert Stone, so I have a feeling that it's going to be Stark and Io win, but it's going to be in such a fashion that Stone leads to their loss, and Frankie is like, or they say Frankie was right all along, and they start to ditch him.
Yeah,
I think that's where we're going with that. It's coming. Mean Girls, I am all for it. I
love it.
What else is going on? Okay, do you want to get to the Diamond Mine, or do we want to talk about LA Knight? Yeah,
let's LA Knight. Let me talk to you.
That's for last. Knight drops DiBiase. Never seen
so good.
DiBiase take a bump in that many years. I love it. Good time.
Ain't laughing now, you schmuck.
So in LA Knight's whole promo, I love the idea where he continues to talk about, I watched you as a child.
I knew it was, it was so obvious.
And I'm like,
he was telegraphing it. Like,
it's not even that. I knew that was happening. What I'm sitting there, I'm just like, he watched him when DiBiase was big in like the 80s.
Yeah.
You're 40. This is NXT. This is developmental. I'm just like, you're a 40-year-old man, and this is a place for 20-year-olds. Maybe don't talk about how you were a big fan of the man when you were a kid, because all these people are just like, I've never heard of you. I've never watched your stuff.
Yeah, he's just pretending. That's very funny.
Yeah, I do like LA Knight just being like, you're all a bunch of incels. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
good.
Oh my God.
I love him.
Talk went on a long time. You're right, but the beatdown went on for longer, and it was really good.
I mean, my wife was sitting here watching. She's like, "This is really bad. What is happening?" And I was like, "No, he's gonna smack him. Watch." And then, there you go. He smacked him. I also, you were tweeting that. I think I told her that. I was like, "No, see, Joel's saying it too. Like he's gonna hit him. You just wait."
Yeah, Grimes coming out making the save. Didn't need his music. Didn't need the fanfare. Just came out, saved him. Put his head on his knee.
Daddy, no.
Yeah, exactly.
Look what they did to my papa.
That's right. Grimes will make $1 million off of this alone.
Oh, so good. So good.
Tornado tag last week. GYV, Tommy and Timmy. What'd you think?
Good. Intense.
Intense is right. Old school NXT tag team match. I liked that. Now GYV, you have to find something to do.
Yeah. It didn't go the way I thought it was going to go.
Tommy and Timmy versus MSK, though. It's going to be
Can't wait.
A really cool kind of clashing of styles, which I'm into. You can run that a few times and make it good each time they do it. I love it.
It feels like I'm probably putting too much on it, but it feels like it would be like what the Young Bucks and FTR should be.
Yep.
Like that's what it feels like. That I like these two tag teams a lot, so I really want them to put on a good show.
I assume that'll take place at TakeOver Great American Bash. Meanwhile, Breezango and Imperium happened. Breezango got murdered and won the match and murdered. But they won the match, but they got murdered. How do you think Walter feels about his boys right now?
He's displeased.
Is he upset? Yeah.
He's winning left and right, and then they're letting him down.
We'll get to Diamond Mine in a second, because Hit Row tonight takes on Everrise in what I assume will be a giant ass squash. Where Imperium might come out afterwards, assert their dominance on one of those two teams.
That sounds like a good idea. That sounds like it might go somewhere.
I would like to see that. Everrise is also just so damn funny.
Very fun.
You can't not like them. Okay. You ready? Talk about it. Weeks of vignettes. Weeks of speculation. Who are the Diamond Mine? Tell you who it's not. It ain't Tessa Blanchard.
Good.
Tell you who it's not. It ain't Parker Boudreaux. And I wish people would stop saying that name.
He's just a boy.
He's just a boy, but even funnier is recently there was a little bit of a reportski coming out saying, you know, WWE, everyone and the coaches of PC, they love all of these legitimate athletes that they brought in to the PC. All these new guys who have athletic training but have never wrestled. And they mention everyone except one name.
A notable omission, eh?
Buddy, get off social media for a day and you might learn how to forward roll. Yeah, I'm kind of over Parker and
focused on his lame ass brand.
Yeah, like good on you for having a brand and wanting to put, but man, make sure you're good at the job you've been hired to do first. Doesn't make sense to me. But anyway, so it's not any of those guys. Let's get to it. Still the dumbest rumor is Tessa. Absolutely. I agree with that. It's a new group, but how new is this group?
I don't know.
I think that these people, and I do think that there are women involved, these are going to be people, men specifically, who have challenged Kushida before.
That's a weird... Okay.
But not all of them. I'm saying it's going to be Carmelo Hayes, Trey Baxter, Asher Hale, and then Ivy Nile, who many people don't know yet, but she's formerly Emily Anzulis. She was an American Ninja Warrior. So she has an MMA kind of background. You can look her up. You'll find her. But I also think they have a leader. And their leader is Tyler Rust.
What?
With Malcolm Bivens as their mouthpiece.
I don't like this anymore.
Tyler Rust was being touted as the diamond in the Rust.
God, that's so dumb.
Steph DeLander as someone who joins in. I like that. That's a possibility. But yes, Bivens as the talker. I like that idea.
See, I don't know. Like the promos that they've been running, I'm expecting people who are like cut, like big, like 8-pack type people. Like that's what I was expecting. Like just a group of bodybuilding narcissists who beat the shit out of people. That's what I was expecting, and now I'm going to be disappointed with anything less.
I mean, I was telling you for months that it was going to be, you know, MMA style fighters, but also I also thought Ezra Judge was going to be one of those people, but then he got fired. So there you go. If Hale is in it, Ari Sterling joining is probably out. The only reason I'm saying that is because Sterling has been very much involved with 205 Live. Asher Hale's kind of been in and out, but I would like to see that kind of happen. And yes, there is a stacked mid-card right now in NXT, and I'm a big fan of it. But I think these are the folks who are going to join Diamond Mine, or they're going to blow it up completely, and it's going to be someone we didn't expect. It's going to be Drake Maverick.
I think it's odd to put some of them on TV in the weeks leading up like that, like how they did. But we'll see.
The only reason I don't feel that way is because it's a bunch of guys who had standout matches, very much had a point to prove. Maybe didn't prove it right away, but then Bivens and Rust kind of snapped them back into shape.
Yeah.
And their first opponents are Hit Row. No, I don't know. And that is what they did with the Undisputed Era. That's true. Thinking about it from Alex, they brought them in piece by piece.
Okay.
And they all lost until Adam Cole was brought in, and they had the match at Brooklyn with Adam Cole made his debut, and O'Reilly and Fish were up on the ring apron at the end of the match, and then there you go. They brought in Adam Cole. There it was.
Okay, so maybe there's a formula to it. Like Ivy Nile kind of suits what I was thinking, but we'll see.
Yeah, it is very much one of those NXT call-ups. That is the way they kind of do it.
Yeah.
But yes, there are a lot of places it could be. It could be anyone at this point, but that's who I'm thinking it could be. We're going to find out real soon because NXT is going to start in a few minutes.
Woo!
we can get out of here. I can make sure that I don't, start hitting a cold sweat and feeling garbagey because I got my arm shot up today. Whew. Whew.
Well, if you do, don't tell me about it. I'm tired of hearing about it.
That's fine. I'm not going to tell anyone about it. Is there anything else we need to cover here on NXT? Anything else? Friends in the chat, is there anything you really want to hear from us? Because I will do it. I swear to God, I'll do it for you.
Quick shout out to Riddle's butt and MVP putting on his necklace again after getting his ass claymored. There's some weird things with WWE camera work this week. Just some weird things. Like, yeah, Drew slammed Riddle. His ass came out, and instead of continuing to sell, Riddle decided to pull up his pants because he's on TV, and you got to be mindful of that stuff. And then MVP got claymored. His necklace fell off when he rolled out of the ring, and then instead of selling, he put on his necklace again, and then Drew had to feed it to him.
Oh my God. All right. Well, there's your moment of the week, ladies and gentlemen, and friends beyond the binary. So Tim, tell them where they can find you on the internet.
They can find me if they want, for some reason, at TimStoneP, TimbStonep on Twitter.
Shows at Tim and Joel Pod. We're not hard to find. We also have the Discord. It's in the description of this video. Come and join us because we love to chat all shows with you all the time. We do predictions as well, where you can find us giving our confidence points, trying to win. I didn't win this past round, though.
You didn't. I came second.
You did.
Stupid Rhea and Charlotte bullshit.
It's true. Being asked, why didn't Mahabali Shera interfere in the 5-way like Madman Fulton did last week? I don't know, but I will tell you that you can come and watch Impact with me and my friend Steven Jensen, and this week my friend Spencer Love from Love Wrestling. If you go over to twitch.tv/FightfulGaming, that's going to be Thursday night, 8 p.m. Eastern. Come and join us. I am at Joel Pearl, JoelPearl. I ain't hard to find. Love to see you. Love to talk to you. Let's do it sometime over on the Discord. Ladies, gentlemen, friends beyond the binary, enjoy NXT and enjoy your week. We'll see you for SmackPack on Sunday.